Ex-WWE stars are reportedly reluctant to lose in AEW. Plus, a SmackDown star's in-ring return has been delayed again. And are AEW about to launch a new show? We'll talk about it. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Christmas is nearly upon us, so some of your favorites from Cultaholic have, of course, taken a well-earned Christmas break. That's why it's me and you doing the news today, and it will be during Crimbo Limbo. Maybe not Barry. He's got stuff going on. Let's talk WWE and AEW for a little bit, shall we? In particular, those WWE stars that make the move to join All Elite Wrestling. We've seen some great stuff coming from ex-WWE stars heading over to AEW, and we've seen some not so great things as well. Now, Miro was the big talking point in our first news video today, continues to be that case today in a surreptitious sort of way, because when speaking about Miro's AEW status, Dave Meltzer mentioned something rather interesting about former WWE talent in AEW, and he said, it's weird. A lot of people who come from WWE are very leery, obviously, Bryan Danielson being the exception, about doing jobs. Then it becomes very difficult to book when you don't really want to do programs where you're going to lose. So Bryan Danielson being pointed out as an exception to the rule there, because if anything, Bryan Danielson almost loses too much in AEW. He goes too far the other way. But that discussion comes from Dave Meltzer talking about Miro and Miro's status in AEW. I jumped on Cage Match. I'd love to meet some of the wizards and the team that put the stuff on Cage Match. Like, seriously, it's the greatest wrestling resource ever. God bless you. I guess Alan Cage Match. I think that's what Alan Cage Match looks like. Hi, Alan Cage Match. But I went on Cage Match, and Miro has a really good win-loss record. In fact, I believe there's a tag team loss, there's a loss to Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, and there is a loss via stoppage to Bryan Danielson. Otherwise, he is winning all the way through. Now, am I saying that Miro is refusing to lose in AEW? I'm not. What I will point out is that there has been reports that have talked about the lack of creative ideas for Miro, and reports that say that there was creative in place for Miro that he shot down. And I can't imagine that Miro would be the sort of guy that would be upset about losing to people, because like Miro generally seems like quite an affable, cool guy. I don't know, but and then maybe it's a case of wanting to lose when the time is right. Maybe just popping onto TV just to lose isn't the way that Miro or anybody really wants to go. I think a lot of negativity levied towards AEW comes from when WWE guys come in and just storm the gates, as it were. And I think that's something that hasn't happened as often in recent times. Like, I know some people get on my case and think I'm anti-AEW when I'm really not, because I think at the moment, I applaud the fact, especially now, where you've got MJF as your AEW champion, who has been developed and built beautifully in AEW from the ground up. You've got the Acclaimed as tag team champions, who weren't even a thing until AEW came along. And there they are as tag team champions. Jamie Hayter, who has been built, basically the main bulk of her career has been through AEW stuff. And you have Jamie Hayter as the women's champion there as well. And there's been a lot of greats that have been built through AEW. And there'll be many more as well, but I think they'll always have that sort of WWE thing levied at them. But it'll be interesting to see where Miro ends up this time next year, maybe. Now, whilst we did say that his contract is still for a few more years, we have seen that, that is open to interpretation a little bit. On the WWE side of things, we're sending our best wishes to Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew McIntyre reportedly suffered an issue with his eardrum after Survivor Series, during the War Games match at Survivor Series, after which he has been unable to compete in ring. He missed out last week on on the tag title match he and Sheamus were going to have against the Usos, but we spoke to on the bump, and he said, "Yeah, I'm ready to get back. I'm keen to get back up and going again. It won't be over Christmas because Drew McIntyre has now been pulled from all of WWE's holiday tour live events. This includes that huge event they're doing on December 26th at Madison Square Garden. No set time frame for Drew McIntyre's return. He's not scheduled to do anything over the holiday period. Hoping he'll be well and back in time for the Royal Rumble at the very least." It's obviously an injury that they're reluctant to get him back on TV for, so we send him best wishes. By the way, if you are going to that Madison Square Garden show, if you are going, you're in for a treat, honestly. A fatal five-way ladder match was reported as part of the card just the other day. Gunter defending the IC title ladder match stylee against Kofi Kingston, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ricochet, and Santos Escobar. Bray Wyatt, Liv Morgan, Hit Row, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett all going to be there doing some stuff as well. The main event set to be the Bloodline. The Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn facing Kevin Owens, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Drew McIntyre. But of course, now we know that Drew McIntyre not going to be part of that show, so there'll be no doubt somebody else drafted in there. Maybe Jamie Noble again. Do Jamie Noble again. Enjoyed his return the other day. It was good fun. From returns to re-signings, Rich Swann, former WWE Cruiserweight champion, was on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, and he revealed that he has re-signed with Impact. He says, "They've done nothing but treat me with the utmost respect. It's been a place where I've been able to grow. I've been able to watch other competitors grow, and I've been able to watch the company grow into a spot where it should be." And he's got a lot of love and a lot of time for Impact Wrestling, which is why he's back on the books with them. He's been there since 2018, former X-Division champion at this point. He's a former digital media champion, a former world champion as well. In fact, he was the first Impact, the first incumbent. Is that the word when you're sitting? Either way, he's the first sitting Impact Wrestling champion to face the AEW World Heavyweight Champion in a title versus title match. That was a thing that happened back at Impact Wrestling Rebellion. Remember that? Remember her? That was Rich Swann, and he had a real brutal bit of action with Steve Macklin last night on Impact, which I did enjoy as well. So Rich Swann, no doubt, are going to do some good things for Impact Wrestling going forward. It's all change in the New Japan Pro Wrestling King of Pro Wrestling division. This, low key, one of the funnest bits of wrestling around right now. It's been a trophy for the longest of times, whereby you will compete all year long. At the end of the year, only one King of Pro Wrestling will be recognized. That's how they do it. But a statement came out from New Japan that said the trophy that represents the King of Pro Wrestling holder status has not always been treated with the prestige and respect. From spray paintings to utter demolition and DIY recreation, fair to say that the King of Pro Wrestling holder was in need of something longer lasting. So from 2023, the holder will have the King of Pro Wrestling Championship belt. And there it is. What a beauty! What a beauty! It's a nice belt, that. So Shingo Takagi, he defeated Taichi in a last man standing lumberjack match on December 19th to be crowned the official 2022 King of Pro Wrestling. So he will take hold of that brand spanking new title heading into 2023. Only the second wrestler to close out a year with that title, that accolade. Toru Yano did it in 2020 and 2021. So 2023's New Japan Rambo at Wrestle Kingdom 17 will be the first person to hold the King of Pro Wrestling belt, as opposed to the trophy, and then they will continue to defend it throughout the year, and at the end of 2023 there will be only one recognized as champion. Now, once the provisional champion's determined, they have matches, and then the matches themselves really go against the grain of what New Japan's about. New Japan very much not into the whole gimmick wrestling scene, but this is gimmick match galore. Both competitors in a King of Pro Wrestling match will pitch a gimmick match, and then fans will vote for which one they have, and these have included a New York Street fight, a dog cage match, there was a 10-minute unlimited pinfall scramble, and there's been at least one 30 count match where you have to keep your opponent down for 30 seconds. There's no doubt more nonsense and rubbish to come in the best possible way. I take that in the best possible way from the KOPW division in 2023. AEW, from the launching of a new title to maybe the launching of a new show in All Elite Wrestling. So they filed a trademark, which has got us thinking. They trademarked the terms Wrestling Bowl and Wrestle Bowl for entertainment and sports purposes, which leads us to believe that AEW might be cooking up a brand new type of wrestling event. This certainly feels like it could be a gimmick wrestling event as well. I'm intrigued. However, I'm intrigued with caution because in 1993, WCW ran Battle Bowl. Remember her? Battle Bowl, which was a lethal lottery tag team tournament. And then the winners of those matches would go into a battle royal, and the winner of that would get a shot at Vader's WCW title. It was kind of universally panned as a bad idea because like the lethal lottery was very lethal and very lottery in the sense that like it was completely random. Like the choices were completely random and not a lot of the matches worked. Now, one of the many things I like about AEW is that they're able to take a concept like that and they can kind of retool it and make it work. So I have faith that if Tony Khan and the gang are putting together their own version of Battle Bowl, they can book it so it won't be rubbish. I think if that is what they're doing, intrigued to see what Wrestle Bowl is all about. I'm pretty sure that we will find out in 2023. Next time we sit together to do news, it's going to be Crimbo Limbo, that weird bit between Christmas and New Year's. But you've got some amazing content dropping on the Cultaholic YouTube channel across the weekend. We have been working incredibly hard to make sure that you will not go without some Cultaholic flavored fun over the Christmas period. However you are spending the next few days, keep it in your own way. Thank you so much for all of your love and support over 2022. We couldn't have done it without you. We genuinely couldn't, and you absolutely deserve yourself the most amazing of Christmases, if that is how you keep it. Just enjoy a nice long weekend with friends and family, and stay safe, and love you. Bye.